Howdy, howdy, howdy. Hope y'all are all doing fantastic. Welcome to another Monday evening, another episode of Cliff Notes Live, May 17th. I hope y'all are all doing fantastic. Oh, well, let me start as I always do. SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love all my fellow reality TV fans, love all of y'all out there. Now, tonight, I see a lot of y'all out there, all my good old friends sitting out here, Ma and Don and Joshy and Parker and Brian and Jake and Amanda and Maria and Crosstrack, Angie, all my crews here. So thank y'all. I did want to do a special shout out though to Janice Johnson. Janice doesn't watch live, but she makes a lot of comments on the YouTube, the replays, and everything. She said she always watches. So Janice, hey, I noticed you. And thank you for watching it as well. Appreciate all y'all. I absolutely do. Hope y'all are doing fantastic. Man, I talked last week about it being summertime and all of that. No more. Well, it's still hot here. I mean, it's going to be hot from now on. It has been raining all day long. So just been sitting inside, getting ready for y'all guys. Got a few stories for you. A few things I've been dealing with. So we'll talk about that as well. But yeah, kind of neat talking to y'all instead of standing outside and that old rain just coming down all day. Just one of those kind of dreary, typical Monday. What's it? Rainy days and Mondays always get me down. It's Carpenters. Some of y'all probably know who the Carpenters are. Some of you not so much. They're old school. But no, I hope y'all are doing well. All right, let's see what's going on. I always forget to get around to it until it's late in the show, but I'm going to throw in a few things today. Today is national kind of deal. Yeah, I always like starting off as people come straggling in. Wanted to talk about, first of all, did y'all know today is National Idaho Day? Yeah, yes, indeed. The coolest thing about being on Big Brother is that I meet people from all over, not just the United States, not just Canada, all over the world. But I don't know that I've met anyone from Idaho just yet. So if one of y'all are from Idaho, let me know. And a big old shout out to you. But otherwise, if you know someone from Idaho, hey, tell them Happy National Idaho Day. I bet they'd be amazed that you know it was it's National Idaho Day. So we got that. The other one, though, and this is the one I wanted to talk about. I guess I want to talk about it tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big one. Y'all know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow is National No Dirty Dishes Day. Right? Yeah. I don't know. I growing up, feel like my mom told me every day was No Dirty Dishes Day. We didn't have a dishwasher when I was growing up. We just washed it by hand. My brother and I, that was our job after dinner, sit there and wash those dishes. And I guess I got pretty good at it. I guess it came in handy when I went into the Big Brother house, right? I did a lot of dishwashing there. I didn't do a whole lot of cooking as part of the group because Mickey and Jack and there are a few people that really wanted to kind of take control of the food. It's like, all right, fine, do it, whatever you want to do. I'm fine with that. But I always tried to wash the dishes because I always thought that when you do dishes, when everyone eats together as a group, once the meal was over, most of the people tended to still be in the kitchen area. So most of the people would see me over there scrubbing away and doing dishes and everything else. So I didn't want anyone to ever think I was a slacker, that I wasn't doing my share of the cleaning up and everything else. So I tried to go out of my way to make sure I did those dishes, especially at dinner time, just so everyone else would notice and pay attention to it. Yeah, there's so many ways you can get voted out of Big Brother. And some of them are strategy. Some of them just have to do if people get irritated with you because you snore, or you don't do dishes, there's a million and one reasons that people could boot you out just because everyone's always looking for some kind of reason, some kind of justification. So I was going to make sure they didn't have that particular one. So I did a lot of dishes while I was in the house. So I guess tomorrow I'll do some more dishes and I'll just reflect back on my time in the Big Brother. We got so tired of that silverware in there. Do y'all remember that? It's been a while. You may not remember as much, but we had these little mugs that were, I don't know, green and blue and red, and they were metal mugs that we'd put coffee and drinks and everything. Those things got so hard to clean, and they smelled by the end of the 3.5 months or so. The plates were the same way because we didn't get new stuff. I mean, what we started with at the first of the year is what we had at the end of the year as well. So I was so tired of eating and drinking out of that stuff by the end of the whole thing. So yeah, it was kind of nice just to have an old-fashioned McDonald's or Whataburger cup at the end and use that instead. once I got out of the house. So there you go. So happy, what I say, no dirty dishes day tomorrow. All right, I got one more, and someone's already asking me, yeah, you leave shaker bottles in the fridge. I never had a problem with it. I was fine. Yeah, there was a lot of food in that refrigerator, but there was always a lot of room in that refrigerator as well. It wasn't that big a deal, but some people took issue with it. Again, people are always looking for some kind of reason, some kind of excuse to target someone else. So it is what it is. All right. Amanda says, I've always wondered why the Big Brother house didn't have a dishwasher. Figure it was to help create arguments between the guests. Yeah, Amanda, it's probably that. You may argue that the noise would be too loud. I don't know. But we had washing machines for our clothes and everything, and dryers. But yeah, we never had it. I think it was just to force us to do as much labor as possible while we were in there. And I gotta say, there were some times where doing dishes was a great way to act like I was doing something else, but still kind of eavesdropping on some conversations that were taking place around. And the other great thing about doing dishes was when I was facing the sink doing the dishes, there was a mirror right in front of me. Heck, there's mirrors on every wall in there, right? But there was a mirror right in front of me. So while I was doing the dishes, I could look in that mirror and see who was sitting on the couch in the bathroom and kind of tell who was having conversations. I also could look over to the side into the living room area, see who was maybe gathering in there and having conversations. So right there in the kitchen was a good place where you could see a whole lot of people gathering and watching people go into the boat room and all that. So you could kind of pay attention while pretending like you were doing some chores as well. So we've got that. Chicky D, is that a Wizard of Oz painting behind you? Yes, indeed it is. And there's a special reason for it. Because I talked about today's national, Idaho, tomorrow's the no dirty dishes. But today, this day in history, in 1900, 121 years ago, L. Frank Baum printed out, released, I know he printed the first edition of the Wonderful Wizard of Oz. It was printed and or released on this day in 1900. And yes, that's the background behind The Wizard of Oz. Was one of my absolute favorite books as a kid. I'm curious what y'all's favorites are as well. Yeah, I'm sitting there talking away. Let me know what y'all's favorites are. My two favorite books were the Wizard of Oz series, and y'all may not know there were a whole bunch of Wizard of Oz books written. In fact, just as a little show and tell, that was right back in grade school. I'll show y'all my copies of the Wizard of Oz. There you go. That's it. The Wizard of Oz cost $1.95 when it was published. But that's not all, my friends. Oh, no, just like an infomercial. I got the Wizard of Oz. I've got the Land of Oz. I've got the Tin Woodman of Oz. Ooh. I've got the Scarecrow of Oz. And I have the Road to Oz. All right, so a funny story. I was a huge reader as a kid. I just would read everything. I read through all of these Wizard of Oz books. And at that point, my mom said, and my mom and dad said, well, let's see what else we can find you. So we went up to the local library. They had a few more Oz books. I checked those out. I read through them pretty quick. At that point, the librarian there said, I tell you what, I'll keep an eye out for other Oz books. Next thing you know, she's chasing down books or getting calls from all the libraries in the Fort Worth, which is where it's from, Fort Worth area. Whenever a library book would become available for one of the Oz books I hadn't read, they would borrow it, send it to the library by my house, and I'd go up, ride my bicycle up, check out the book and read it. And so I don't know how many of those things I've read. I've read a whole lot of them. I love the Wizard of Oz. I think it's just the idea of taking adventure somewhere else, going beyond what you do on a normal day-to-day deal, taking an adventure. It's probably why I love science fiction so much. It's probably why I love Big Brother so much as well. I mean, think it. Dorothy goes to Oz. She has to do her challenge, follow the Yellow Brick Road, defeat the witch. I had my own witches and warlocks to defeat while I was in the Big Brother house, right? I got a few of them, not all of them, but my own kind of adventure. So, yeah, one of my favorites. Chickadee Santa, who is my favorite character? I don't know. I kind of like them all. Yeah, it's kind of like the Hunger Games, not the Hunger Games, the Divergent series, where everyone has their own little feature. The Tin Man with the heart, the Scarecrow without the brains. I kind of like the Tin Man because he Well, one thing, for those of you who don't know, he became a Tin Man because he fell in love with a girl, and the witch who was watching over the girl didn't like it or whatever, so he cursed the woodman's axe. So every time the woodman swung swung an axe, it'd cut another limb off and he'd replace it with a piece of tin prosthetic until eventually his whole body was made out of tin. So Tin Woodman's the way he is because of his love for a girl. So I'll say the Tin Woodman. I do the same thing for Sharon. Hopefully, and fortunately, I didn't have to do a lot of axe swinging to win Sharon's heart, and I'd like to think there's still a heart in here somewhere as well. But I kind of like the Tin Man. Let's see. Let me get caught up on these comments. But yeah, I was a huge Wizard of Oz fan. I watch it every time it's on TV. I still watch it. And to think that came out in 1939, and one of the very first color movies and everything else. All right, let me see that. I saw one here. Maria, yes, are they your originals from childhood? Yeah, they are. They I had them. Those are the ones my parents bought for me. And again, you can see it's what was that, $1.50 for some of them. If you look in there, I think the published date is like 1956. So they're not originals. There's not the night. I'm not that old. I don't have the original 1900 prints. I wish I did because I bet those things have some value. But no, it's my original runs from home, and my kids read them. They weren't as interested in them. They liked them too, but they were a little more into Harry Potter and some of the other stuff that was going on at the time. Hey, Jeff Mertz, I see Jeff out here. Jeff and I grew up. We were buddies, lived next door to each other forever. So, Jeff, how are you doing? I just saw Brandon over the weekend, and we'll talk about that as well. But anyway, all right. The Wizard of Ozzy Osbourne. I gotta say, I listened to a little Ozzy Osbourne when I was a little older than when I was reading the Wizard of Oz book. Yeah, a little different time period there. But yeah, Chicky D, it's a cool collection. It's one of my favorites. I love Wizard of Oz. Now, the other one I really liked was the Hardy Boys. Man, I read those Hardy Boys. During the summertime, I could read a Hardy Boys book. It took about a day. So I would go up there, check out 3 or 4 books, read them for a week, and then go back up, check them out again. I spent a lot of time riding my bicycle back and forth between my house and the library. And nowadays, do they even have libraries? I mean, I know they do, but you get everything online. It's just not the same as it used to be. So yeah, it's kind of cool. All right, let me get caught up on my comments because Angie has never seen The Wizard of Oz. Angie, all right, we all have our little cultural black spots, right? Just the areas that we haven't quite gotten right. You guys see The Wizard of Oz. What's cool is there's a lot of politics supposedly that got built into it. Supposedly the yellow brick road and the ruby slippers were originally silver slippers, and that represented the gold and silver exchange standards that the United States was pulling us off. The Wicked Witch of the East was Washington, D.C. I mean, there's all kinds of political symbolism apparently put into it. The Scarecrow were the farmers from the Midwest that weren't smart enough to stand up for themselves. There's a lot of things. A lot of people spent a lot of time analyzing the Wizard of Oz. But no, the other one I loved was the Hardy Boys. So yeah, Janet. Hey, Janet. So Janet is out here. Janet, I wasn't going to forget you. All right. And Ma saying got my first dose of Pfizer on Saturday. Well, congratulations, Ma. You're halfway there. I got to say, I've had both my shots now. And when I go out, I still wear a mask because I want people to feel safe around me. They don't know if I've been vaccinated or not, but I feel so much more relaxed knowing that I've been vaccinated. I can go to the grocery stores, go to some restaurants, and everything else. So congratulations, Ma. Now go with the second shot here in a couple of weeks. We're going to be over this before you know it. And then we got Big Brother. I'm not going to forget Big Brother. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Josh, he's saying, I remember watching the live feeds and they always had the camera behind the mirror when they were doing dishes. Yeah, they love that little shot. And I got to say, one time, do y'all remember the scary clowns that came out on prank week and tried to scare us and everything? I remember them. We all remember them. But the first time the clowns appeared, I was actually washing dishes. And at one point, one of the mugs I was washing, I don't know what happened. Somehow it slipped out of my hands. My hands were all soapy and up. Slipped out of my hands. The handle broke on the glass and boom, it breaks. And everyone immediately turns towards me because they hear the noise. I think Nicole is the one who then sees past me as the clown in the mirror facing out at me. And I'm sure this clown was trying to scare me right there in the mirror. And it would have done it. Guaranteed that would have worked. I'm not a big fan of clowns, but it was scaring me. But I was so busy focused on the the mug down in the sink. I hadn't even looked in the mirror. That's what y'all don't realize. That house has mirrors, on every wall, basically. And yet, because you're in that house for so long, you just kind of forget about it after a while. I know there are a few people in my house that may have spent a little time posing in front of the mirrors and preening a little bit and doing that. Not so much me. I just forgot they were there. And so I wasn't even looking in the mirror when the clowns appeared, but I started watching after the first couple showed up. That was a very weird night. Very, very strange. All right. So let's see what else is going to cross track. Your sister had Nancy Drew. My wife Sharon had Nancy Drew. Kelly read Nancy Drew as well. And Hayden saying the Hardy Boys were the best. I kind of agree with you. We still got a bunch of them upstairs. I don't know if kids read them as much as they used to, but they should. It's just good, wholesome. And I love the mysteries. I've always loved mysteries. I told y'all a few weeks back about Knives Out, and now I see they're coming out with the Knives Out 2 sequel. It's as though someone with the movie industry is watching this feed and saying, Cliff like Knives Out, let's do something to back it up or to follow up with it, because now I see they got a sequel going on. But I love mysteries, so the Hardy Boys were right there with it. I used to love one called Encyclopedia Brown, where there'd be mysteries, and you'd have to figure out how Encyclopedia Brown figured out whatever mystery he figured out. And it seems like you could go to the back of the book and there'd be answers and things like that. And and then there are a lot of them. The Trixie Belden was another one I know that my wife read. So yeah, man, I'm gonna have to go find some of those and read them just to relive my childhood a little bit and enjoy it. All right, let's see what else. What was the best spot to see the most in the mirrors? Brian, that was kind of tough because there were a few spots. If y'all remember on our season, we had kind of a kitchen island with a couch in front of it. And if you sat on that couch, first of all, people couldn't really see you there. Sometimes they would not even notice that you're sitting there, and you could hear a little bit conversations that sometimes you weren't supposed to. But if you sat just right, you could look up and see the mirror in front of you that would go back into the bathroom. So you'd see everything going on in the bathroom. You could see who was going in and out of the boat room. And we all timed how long people were in there, how many people were in there, things like that. But if you look to the left, you could actually see into the living room. But beyond that, there was an angled mirror in the living room, kind of where the two nomination chairs were. There was an angled mirror behind that. And if you did it just right, you could look into that mirror and it would bounce all the way back to the RV room and that area in front of the RV room. So you could even see people were going into the storage room, going into the different bedrooms there. It was quite the angle. We weren't always sitting there just because we wanted to talk to people or we loved the smell of tuna that Mickey had fixed or whatever. Sometimes it was just because it was a great space to see everything that was going on in all different directions. So yeah, that was the best place to sit, I think. All right, let's see. Don is asking, is the movie a combination of the different books? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, Don, here's the thing. If I recall, and it's been a while, if I recall the instead of a bunch of flying monkeys, at first the Wicked Witch sent wolves against the Scarecrow and pulled them all apart, and then sent some other kind of creature again. It sent different creatures against each of the animals, if I recall. So yeah, it was a little bit different. And at the end, she tries to enslave Dorothy to make her slave as opposed to getting those shoes. It's just a little bit different. But but the books actually are whole different plots with whole different characters. And so yeah, they kind of changed up the original, but there's a whole lot more story to the Oz world than just that. Maria saying I used to go see the play as a kid and it was magical. Yeah, I grew up in the tornado country. I used to always think, hey, yeah, we have these tornadoes. I guess I could see it picking you up. You always heard the stories about some cow that got picked up and dropped off, 10 miles down the road, or some car that landed 500 feet away and was still perfectly in fine condition, could just drive away. So I assumed that, yeah, maybe you could actually ride a tornado into wherever the Oz was. So yeah, all right, let's see. The Crosstrack saying first book I ever read was The Outsiders and the Diary of Anne Frank. I was hooked on books ever since. All right, Crosstrack, those are some deep books. There's definitely some messages to be had with both those. Love the Diary of Anne Frank. We read that as well. All right, another book I'll mention, my favorite of all time book. Maybe that's pushing it because I've liked a lot of them, but maybe my favorite book of all time. My first big adult science fiction book was the Foundation Trilogy. And it's got by a guy named Isaac Asimov, who wrote a lot about robots and everything else. But the Foundation Trilogy by Isaac Asimov, and I'm so excited because I just found out they're doing a movie, a TV series. I'm not sure which it is, but it's coming to the film world. And I love me some Isaac. I wrote my junior theme. Do y'all still have to do that? Wrote a junior paper on Isaac Asimov and all about him and growing up in Russia and coming over here and becoming a sci-fi writer and everything. It's incredible, interesting lifestyle he always had. And Andy says, I always love to read. I love the Little House on the Prairie books and anything with horses. Yeah, I read the Little House on the Prairie books too. I read the books and we had the TV show back then. So I got the best of both worlds with Little House on the Prairie. And Angie's again saying she's never seen. I'm seeing that comment again, Angie. Never seen the Wizard of Oz. All right, well, when I come out to Calgary, we can go hit the Cowboys or whatever, but we need to spend a little time watching. Tell you what, you watch Wizard of Oz with me, and I'll watch Titanic with you. Maybe we can make a compromise like that. All right, let's see. Once saw a meme of something where Dorothy, Scarecrow, 10 men in line are all eating ice cream. Everyone but Scarecrow's holding their hands. All right, yeah, you have a lot of fun with the different characters. I did during BB All Stars last year. I took a Photoshop of Wizard of Oz, and I think I put Nicole and Cody and Enzo and who else was in there at the very end? Christmas, and I guess I put their faces on the Wizard of Oz people. And so they've done the same thing to us as well, the BB21 cast. I think I may have been put on the face of the Cowardly Lion. I'll take it, whatever. Sure enough. All right, let's see. Let me catch up with these. Did I read? No, Ma's asking, did I read Nancy Drew? I didn't really read Nancy Drew. I was reading the Hardy Boys, but I would have. I just never got around to it. Maria said, I'm a teacher. My kids read books on their iPads way more than real books. Yeah, and I do the same thing. I'm very rarely. The last book I probably read that was a book and not an iPad was while I was in sequester in the Big Brother, before I went on Big Brother. Well, and after I got out, while I was waiting to vote for the finale as well. What a segue, because the book I was reading was, I can't remember who wrote it now, James Corey maybe. Anyways, The Expanse, sci-fi book. It's on, I think, Amazon. I've been watching a lot of those episodes. They've had like 5 seasons, so I'm way behind. But I'm reading The Expanse, and I'm watching the series on TV as well. And it's a great sci-fi book. It's like Game of Thrones, but up in space to some degree. It's a lot of politics and everything going on. So it's pretty cool. And Chicky D saying I had a crush on Sean Cassidy back in the day from the Hardy Boys. I don't think you were the only one. He had a lot of people crushing on him, right? I remember that. I remember the TV show. Don, I want to visit Canada some way. Anyone want to come with me? Canada's cool. I love Canada. I've been to the East Coast. I've been to Alberta. So I've never been to Toronto. Never been to Quebec. I'd love to go there, but yeah, I like my neighbors to the north. Not just because they have such incredible people. Howdy, guys. But it's just a fun country. It's so much like ours. We got a lot more in common than we do different. All right, let's see. What's going on? Brian's asking for a B update. Yes, I'm going to give you what's 7:23? All right, we got a little time. When Cliff said boom, my Wi-Fi buffered for like 5 seconds. Well, Mom, I guess I'll take the credit for it, but my Wi-Fi doesn't listen to me. Nice that yours is paying attention to me because mine still doesn't at all. All right, let's see. All right. This sorry guys, I'm following along. It's hello friends. Yeah, so someone asked about it and I forgot to ask about it. So but yeah, someone asked about Nicole, I think, and I don't know if y'all saw, she decided to step away from her shows and stuff. I think she's still doing some of them, but not as many with the Hello Friends brand and all of that. And you know what? We all get thrown into this stuff. She wasn't a social media podcaster any more than I was before the show. And I talked to her a little last night. It's nice catching up to Nicole, but you know what? People do things. You try things out. You test some things out. You have fun doing it. I have a blast talking to y'all. But yeah, Nicole was doing 6-7 days a week. Nicole was doing a lot of these shows, and I know she she is so enamored, so happy to be with the kids that she was with before she went into the house. Her little kids, as she always called my little kids and all. And she was wanting to really get back to it. And so, you have to make some sacrifices here and there. So she's going back into teaching, I think, going to the same school and, working with kids that need a little extra help and all that. And I know she is so excited to doing that. And unfortunately, as a result, it sounds like maybe she was so busy doing the other stuff, and you can't have it all. So she's taking a break, doing some other things. And I told her before, I'll support you no matter what you do. I've always got your back. And excuse me. And so, I also told her, I said, now you may be backing off a little bit, but that just gives me an excuse to get you on the show. So and she didn't say no. Maybe she's being polite, but hopefully not. Because once Big Brother comes along, I'm going to talk more Big Brother, and we're going to talk about that. So I'm going to see if I can't get Nicole on here a little bit, and we'll get her thoughts on it. I had so much fun talking to Nicole about Big Brother Canada that just wrapped up, and getting her thoughts on it. And just us taking our experiences from our time in the Big Brother house, comparing it to what they went through. And that's the beauty about being on that show. I think we're so sympathetic to other people who've gone on the show, because we get it. Without throwing out names, there's people who made some great plays on Big Brother Canada, others who maybe could have done things a little differently, but I get all of them. And I just sympathize, I empathize, I support them, everything else. So we had fun talking about all the different people on the show. And I love Big Brother. It was a great season. So anyway, there you go. All right, let's see what else is going on before I start talking about bees and Big Brother as well. It's storming here in Kelly. Hey, Kelly, my daughter's out here as well. It's storming here in Houston. It's been miserable out here. All right, and Ma says I'm buffering like every 5 seconds. Well, I don't know what to say. I'd talk slow, but then I'll never get everything else in, Ma. So here's the thing. If it gets too miserable, all this stuff is all saved out there. You can always come back in and watch it later. And I don't know. Maybe I sound better when you replay it than having to listen to me live. I don't know. All right, let's move on to something else. Parker asking, did you see what Rockstar did? She surprised an autistic kid on his birthday at the kid's school. Yeah, I saw that. A kid who's on the spectrum. And apparently Rockstar is one of his all-time favorites. And she showed up, and he was so surprised. So kudos to Rockstar for doing it. That is such a neat thing. And she's got a big presence out here in social media and all that. And I always enjoy it. She's a character. She was a character in the house, and she's still a character. And I just love following her and seeing what she's got to say on a day-to-day basis. But I saw that video, and it was a whole lot of fun. All right, Maria, what does the 143 stand for? I'll say it real quick. I've said it before, so the rest of y'all bear with me. 143 is the way Mr. Rogers used to say, I love you. There's one letter in I, there's 4 letters in love, there's 3 letters in you. So he used to say that. We used to also say 143 when people had pagers and beepers. That was just a shorthand for saying, I love you. It was a goodbye message. So that's the 143 part. SKD, Sharon, Kelly, Daniel, my family. So there you are. You're up to speed on that. All right. That's all. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the, all right. Would you go back on the show if asked? Well, yeah, I would. I'd talk to my family. This isn't a monarchy over here. I'm not making all the decisions on my own without input from anyone else. So, I'd have to talk to my family and get the okay and all. But yeah, from a personal standpoint, I'd go back in if I could. Absolutely. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And it'd be fun playing slightly different. A little less, not loyal, because I'm a loyal person. It's just who I am. But a little less trusting. Let's say that. A little less believing some of the promises and things made. So does that mean I'd go in a little bit more cutthroat? Yeah, I guess so. But I'd be cutthroat with a smile on my face. And I'd be saying, hey, nothing personal the whole time as I pushed them on out the door. So yeah, I'd go back in the house. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's talk about this. A couple of things. First of all, let's just go ahead and talk about Big Brother, because otherwise I'm going to run out of time, and then I'm going to feel just miserable about it. First of all, I don't know if any of y'all have Clubhouse, the new app that's out there. No video, it's strictly audio. And I got an invite, and so I joined in, but I haven't used it that much. But I saw mention that Julia Chin was going to be on a room talking about Big Brother, and the voice and the host of Love Island were in there as well. I missed the first season of Love Island USA because I was busy inside the house. But I did see last seasons of it. But anyway, I was in there. I was listening to Julie. At the end of the conversation, suddenly she throws out there that Big Brother's 23 coming back on July 7th. I mean, we knew it was coming, right? But it's nice to get the official confirmation that yes, indeed, we're getting another season of Big Brother. I am so excited. And Nicole and I talked about that a little bit last night. The idea that, obviously she was in the house again last year. So this will be her first summer just to watch the show without having the personal ties. But for all of us in my season, this is going to be the first season we get to watch with newbies. And I assume they're all newbies. They aren't going to bring a whole bunch of old people back again. I wouldn't think. But hey, call me. Hey, Steve, if you want, call me. But no, I expect it to be all newbies or almost all newbies. And so it's going to be fun watching all these brand new people come into the house, because I know I'm going to be watching every single day going, oh, if you only knew, or oh, better get used to that, or oh, you better be more quiet when you're speaking in that room because there's going to be people over it. All the things that I'm going to want to give to them as hints, and I won't be able to. I'll be a viewer just like y'all, but probably, maybe, I'll be watching just like y'all, and it's going to be fun watching a lot of brand new people experiencing what I experienced as well. So it's going to be so neat. July 7th is that. Julie announced that the theme of the house is Beach Club, Beach House. That's neat. I like my theme. I mean, do y'all, I don't know what y'all thought about my season with the outdoors and the camp parking. I liked it because it was kind of a calming look to it. The RHOH room, I just absolutely loved it. Wish I could have spent more time up there, but I absolutely loved it. But this year it's going to be the beach house, which makes me think beach balls, flamingos, maybe cabanas out in the back. It got hot back in the backyard, so maybe they get some nice cabanas. Bottle service and foam in the pool. I don't know. What do you do for beach clubs nowadays? One season they actually had talked about putting sand in the bathroom. I think they did a preview of the house and they showed sand in there. And then when they actually got into the house, someone said, we can't do that. Sand's going to get everywhere. That would have been miserable. But who knows? Who knows what they're going to have this year? But the theme is going to be beach house, and that'll be kind of interesting as well. And this is what's really cool. A live move-in. Now, does that mean the live feeds are going to immediately turn on from day one, or are they just going to do live move-in, then we won't see anything for a few days, and then live feeds will come back? She wasn't real clear about that, so I can't say that we know for 100% certain. But if they're doing live feeds when they first move in, I would think there's a reasonable chance that the live feeds will immediately turn on, right? I hope, because speaking from personal experience, I know how much y'all missed during that first week or so when we were in the house and the cameras weren't on. So many alliances formed and people getting irritated with all these things that happened that kind of gave a lot of backstory to our season that y'all never actually saw. And so knowing how much is missed now as a viewer, I don't want to miss it. I want live feeds from day one. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that. I'm just excited. And the other thing, now here's the deal. July 7th is when it starts. My season, y'all may know better than I will do, but it seems like we moved into that house like, June 13th, June 20th, something like that. I kind of lost my early days on there, but we moved in the middle of June. So this season, they're talking about 2 or 3 weeks later that they're moving into the house. Now, what does that tell you? Does that mean that maybe instead of 16 house guests, they may only have 14 house guests like Big Brother Canada had? Is the season suddenly going to be, 79 days instead of 99 days or something? I don't know. I'm just guessing, just like everyone else. Or they had a triple eviction for BB22 All-Stars. Could they have another triple eviction? Could they maybe not have a battle back? I hope they have a battle back. For personal reasons, I'm going to be cheering for the battle back. But somehow, if they're starting later, they're going to just extend later into the fall before they finish it up. We don't know yet. We don't have a clue, but it's going to be interesting watching the cast reveal and everything else. Maria, the first HOH competition is going to be a belly flop contest. All right, Maria, if they do that, I'm going to be absolutely peeved that they didn't give me the chance to do something like that in my season. we had to hang on to those old color logs forever and ever. And I actually felt like I did pretty well considering big old Hogg here. No one expected me to hold on to those logs for a whole time, but I stayed up there and hung on for a long time. Eventually, it came down to a lot of the more petite, athletic type people. But hey, I did what I could. But yeah, if now they do a belly flop I could win a belly flop contest. Once summer comes along, I'll put some videos out there. I got a little more padding. It makes it a little easier. And I probably make a little bit more splash than most people do. So yeah, I could do that. In the Big Brother house, we had that swimming pool. We were not allowed to dive into the pool. You wouldn't want to. It wasn't that deep to begin with, but we were warned multiple times. No jumping, no diving. And just get in nice and slow and don't do anything that's going to cause injuries. It's going to get you booted out of this house. So no diving. But yeah, if they'd had a diving board, y'all would have had a whole nother level of entertainment if they'd had a diving board in that Big Brother house. Because I can do a few stunts. Now, I'm not like Greg Louganis. Yeah, I'm not doing a triple pike with a half turn twist or whatever. I'm doing more who can make the biggest splash, uber cannonballs, things like that. But y'all would have had fun watching. Yeah, Crosstrack Santa would love to see your belly flop, Cliff. Hey, I feel like people I spent a little time without a shirt in that house, so there's probably a lot of people who've already seen my belly flop, and we didn't need any water or diving boards for that, right? It's all right. I own it. I'm always going to own it, so it doesn't bother me at all. But yeah, add water and diving board, a whole different level of belly flopping. Ma's saying, I don't care about specifics as long as it's not too many Barbies and Ken dolls and that they are all entertaining. That's the thing. I had someone ask me, was on Reddit or some forum, said, do you think this is going to be a better season than past seasons? Well, first of all, I'm kind of partial to my season. I know some people may argue with me, but I really like Big Brother 21. But I didn't respond, but my thinking was, it depends on how you define better. Some people just want to see just amazing strategic play from start to finish. Some people just want to see absolutely, they don't care what the strategic play is like as long as there's a lot of fighting, a lot of drama, a lot of arguing. Everyone has different ideas about what they expect in a season. I'll say this, 22 seasons of Big Brother plus the ones I've seen Canada, there's not a single season I've watched that there wasn't something in there that maybe irritated me a little bit, but that also there's always been in every single season lots of things I've really enjoyed. Now, maybe it varied from year to year. Some years certainly more strategic, some years a little more messy, but every year is a little bit different. That's what I like about Big Brother. Some of it has to do with the twist. They throw in different battle of the blocks, things like that. There's certainly things production does that influences the way games played sometimes. Do you have a big alliance? Do you have teams? There's things they can do to control that. And I got opinions on that we may talk about somewhere down the road. But beyond that, so much of it comes down to the house guest. And yeah, the casting people try to pick us based on what they think will create drama or whatever they're looking for. But at the end of the day, they don't always know as well how we're actually going to behave once we get in the house. We can say all kinds of stuff during the auditions, but once you get in there, maybe it's going to be the way you talked about, maybe not. So even production doesn't really know until we're in there just what type of season they're going to get out of it. And that's what makes Big Brother exciting, is every season is just a little bit different because we have the different people. Maybe that's why Big Brother All-Stars was less exciting than other seasons. Yeah, there was alliance and all of that, but part of it was because we already knew all those people. We already knew what to expect from all of them. Whereas when you get a bunch of newbies in there, you don't know. You don't know what person is going to start off saying, you may watch the cast reveal and say, I'm not going to like this person at all. And by the end of it, they may be who you're cheering for, or vice versa. So that's the beauty of this whole game, is people get to, it's not a perfect game that people play, but they get to give it everything they've got. And then we get to watch and adjust our perceptions and assumptions and everything else we make about people. So, Moss, I consider Barbie's like someone like Sis or Angela. Yeah, maybe. I mean, but don't underestimate anyone in that house. And I know there's people who catch a little flack and all that. And first of all, I'm always going to stay positive, but there's people like Sis. I spent a lot of time with her. She's a fun. I love talking to Sis and everything. So don't ever underestimate anyone else. But And again, it's all a big puzzle piece. Yes, you're going to have people that are big strategic players. You're going to have the social people. You're going to have the people that are just in there have fun. It doesn't work if you don't have all those different components mixing together. And then you just mix it all together and you see what happens, right? All right, so let's see what else is going on. Jeff Mertz saying backflips. That was my specialty, doing backflips off of diamond. I'm pretty good at backflips. I'm probably better at backflips than I am at front flips. It seems like almost a hard one to say there, but yeah, maybe it's because I don't see the water as I'm coming down when I did that. And Parker, let's talk about that. Parker mentioned that Nick Macaron did a gender reveal. He's going to have a little girl. I am so happy for Nick. Congratulations to Nick and his girlfriend. They're going to have a little girl. My first child was a daughter as well, so I started off as a girl daddy's girl. I guess that's not. Yeah, y'all know what I mean. And then I had my son Daniel to go along as well, and it was perfect. So happy for Nick that it's gonna. I told him, I said, man, once you're a dad, nothing else is ever going to seem the same. You're going to look at the world a whole different way. Nick's still, as far as I know, competing in this Big Brother celebrity fight match that's taking place, I think, sometime this summer. I still don't know when, still don't know where, but if it's anywhere close that I can get to, I really would love to show up and be ringside and talk to Nick at that point. I haven't seen Nick since the season itself, so I'd love to talk to Nick and get a little more scoop. But yeah, I'm so happy for Nick and his gender reveal. That's not for the gender reveal, just for the fact that he's getting ready to be a dad. Congrats to him. I'm so happy for him. Joshy P saying, how often does Big Brother let you practice the comps before the live shows? They don't, Joshy P. Now, I'm not going to say never. There were a couple of them that we got to practice a little bit. And I don't want to go into details because, I don't want to take away the magic, but it was very, very, very limited that we ever got to practice. In fact, I will say twice that I can think of maybe where we got to practice ahead of time. And it was just because it was going to be a live HOH competition. They wanted to make sure that that we understood the rules because it was going to be quick. Get out there, do your competition live, and so they didn't want to have any confusion. So that's it. I mean, like twice, and it was very quick. And it's not like anyone ever said, all right, y'all are going to have a putt competition. Here's your clubs and go out there and practice for the afternoon. Now, I know some seasons people have gotten things where they felt like maybe there was something to be practicing with in preparation. But even then, I don't think, I wasn't there in those seasons, I don't think production ever came out and said, you better practice this because you're going to be doing this later in the show. Maybe, but that never happened in our season. Again, there was only once or twice where we were kind of let out ahead of time and explained the rules and maybe allowed to handle some things. I'm going to leave it at that, but it doesn't happen that much, Joshy P. It really doesn't. Most of the time, 99%, 95% of the time, when y'all see us walking out there and looking around and seeing those competitions, that's us seeing it for the very first time. I mean, that's us looking around. We didn't know until we got outside what the competition was. We spent lots of times trying to guess based on what shoes they had us wearing. If we were wearing the leader hosen where Kat got evicted that night. Hey, Kat. But we all had our leader hosen on, and we're thinking, what in the world is this competition going to be? We really didn't have a clue. And then we get outside and we discover it's slip and slide. So, we spent a lot of time every week trying to guess what the competition maybe is going to be, but we didn't know until we got outside ever. We just didn't, because they wanted the surprise to be with us as well. So when you saw it on TV, that's us seeing it for the first time. All right, let's see what else. Cliff, Ma saying you're 56. You seem to be more athletic than an almost 16-year-old. Well, I don't know, Ma. I'll put it this way. I give it everything I got. It just may take my body a little bit longer to recover, to heal than some of those other people. Yeah, I messed up my calf muscle doing that jet ski competition during my season when I was HOH, the veto competition, and it took several weeks for it to heal up. So, yeah, but I I was trying not to let anything get in the way. I was going to give it everything I had while I was in there. And then I know I did a little trying to pump me up speech saying, if I break a leg, I break a leg. If I tear a muscle, I'll tear a muscle. If I have a heart attack, I have a heart attack. Well, I'm not sure my wife would be so happy hearing that. But I was going in every competition saying, you know what, you only get one chance to do this competition. You better give it 110%. I hate that term. Yeah, you better give 100%. Because this is your only chance to do it. And so I went in with that mindset. But yeah, some of them I did better than others, and that's okay. I got an excuse. I'm an older guy. You know, I got reasons why I don't always do quite as well as some of the other people on some of these. Lauren said, I need as many blind sides as possible in a season. Well, we didn't have a whole lot of them. I was blindsided. I kind of suspected right before they voted me out over Nicole because people weren't looking at me. You can tell a lot of things after you've been around for people for a while. Suddenly someone like Tommy, who's always so happy and energetic around you, suddenly every time you look at him, he looks the other way. So there's things like that made me think, yeah, something's not on the up and up here. I'm getting ready to get sent home. But yeah, blindsides are always interesting, but I'm always going to feel sorry for the person who gets blindsided now that I've been through it. Maria saying, will you watch Big Brother 23 with your kids? Well, my kids don't live at home, Maria. So I don't know that every night I'll necessarily watch it with them in the same room, but certainly Sharon and I are going to be watching every episode, and I have no doubt that I'll be talking to my kids about it and sharing all kinds of stuff. We're all going to watch. We all watched together as a family when they were here at the house, but now that they're in different places, we'll watch it separately, but we're going to all watch it together, if that makes sense. No, they can't get away from it because after every episode, I'm going to grab them and say, all right, let me tell you this, and this. And so I'll give them an extra hour worth of insight into what I think was going on or what they may have missed. And Kelly's probably out here saying, oh my God, save me now. Now they love Big Brother as well. We used to have a Big Brother fantasy league. What was it called? Pick Pete or something, where we pick different players every week. And if they cried, you got a point. If they yelled at someone, you got a point. If they won HOH, you got 2 points. I don't know. It was something like that. So, yeah, we used to, and we did Jokers and Hamster. Well, we went out to all the websites and watched all of it. So yeah, we'll all be watching. Maria's saying on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is being a have-not? Well, Maria, here's the beauty about it. I don't know because I was never a have-not. For whatever reason, and I've heard rumors and I've heard conspiracy theories and all that, but for whatever reason, we only had have-nots during my season for 2 weeks. Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. I got my suspicions. I'm sure y'all do as well. But we only had 2 weeks. The first week was when I was HOH, so I couldn't be have-not then. And then the second week of have-nots, it was the first 3 people or 4 people that fell off the poisoned ivy vines. And since I was HOH, I wasn't competing in that contest, so I didn't do it that week either. So I never even had an opportunity. In fact, there were 4 people in our house who weren't, I got a landline going off. And they never call here. 4 people who were never have-nots in my season of Big Brother 21. It was Holly and Nick and myself and Sis. And so when the third week was coming up, we said, if it's volunteering, then we will volunteer since we haven't been HOH yet. Nick said that, Holly said that, and I said that. Sis said, I ain't volunteering for anything. If they want to make me a have-not, they're going to have to pick me as a have-not. Otherwise, I'm not volunteering because I don't want to do it. So Sis didn't want to have to be eating slop all week long, and I don't blame her. But y'all know what bothered me more than the slop, I think, because I tried slop, and it isn't great, but I feel like adding enough maple syrup and having pickles to eat as a condiment, I would have been okay with it. What really would have gotten me was a week of taking cold showers. Because I've already told y'all before, I can't stand the cold. I don't like cold water. I don't like being in the rainy, cold weather, which is why it'd be interesting to watch me on Naked and Afraid and some of those shows, because I'd be absolutely miserable. But I can't stand the cold water, and the idea of spending a week having to take cold showers in that house would have been just absolutely brutal. I don't like it. And with that in mind, I got a story I'm going to tell y'all here in just a second about my latest and greatest adventures here in the house. God, it's 7:50, so I'm going to have to talk about it quick. But I want to give y'all an update. All right, let me look at this and make sure I'm not missing anything. Hayden said, not sure I could survive on slop. Everything else is fine. I think you get used to it. And they tried all kinds of recipes of frying it and cooking it and making it look like hamburger patties. It all still tasted the same, but I don't know. It was just, it wasn't that it was bad. It was just that it had zero flavor. It was the most bland thing that you could imagine, and you weren't allowed to eat anything else. That was the problem with slop. But again, I think I could put some vinegar in it. I could put enough flavor profiles in it that I could pretend like it was something else. It would have been okay. Ma saying, didn't Ian throw up on slop? Yeah, Ian got sick on slop, and Nicole got really sick last season on slop as well. But apparently they changed the slop recipe. They use like rolled broiled oats or something. I don't know. They had a different configuration of the slop that made it really important that you boil this stuff down, or else it was just like glass when you ate it. And the old slop wasn't like that. Even if the old slop was like oatmeal, the new stuff was like uncooked oatmeal or something. I don't know. It was a whole lot worse, is everything I understand. So yeah, slop's not great, but you can survive it. And Maria's saying, did Christy and Tommy smell after their poison ivy punishment? A little bit. I mean, they had to wear those same outfits all the time, so they were pretty miserable by then. They were certainly ready to get out of that old poison ivy stuff. They look like a couple of Oompa Loompas running around with the pink covering all over their faces and the unitards and all of that. But what two perfect people to have that punishment. All right, I got to tell y'all a little story I've got to talk to y'all real quick about. On to my bee story, and I'll be following up more next week, because tomorrow, unless it's raining too much, tomorrow the beekeeper is coming to my house to remove whatever wood needs to be removed and get the beehive out of my porch. Sitting over the entrance to my house, I got bees flying around everywhere, and I've been told it could be 40 or 50 gallons, quarts. I don't know. I lost track. Big old supposed honeybee hive up inside my the ceiling above my porch. I didn't want to kill them. It's 20 feet high as well. I live in a 2-story house, so it's 20 feet up to get there. And I was going to improvise my own beekeeper's uniform outfit. And Sharon said, no, you're not going to the ER after you fall off a 20-foot ladder, which is a possibility the first time a bee stings me. I think once I get stung a few times, I'm probably going to be thinking that jumping from a 20-foot ladder may not be that bad a deal. So she's probably a little wiser than I am. But anyway, so I didn't want to kill the bees by exterminating them, by poisoning them, anything like that. So I called out a beekeeper who said, yeah, we can come out there. We'll remove the hive. We'll seal it all up so they don't come back, but we'll suck up all the bees and we'll transport them to a beehive, and so we don't have to kill anymore. We'll save the queen and all that, and they'll be fine. So, all right, well, come do it. So they're coming tomorrow, unless it rains. And I'll be incredibly happy that I don't have to mess with the bees anymore. They're taking them to an apiary. If you've never heard the term, it's not where they keep gorillas, which was my first thought. But why would you take a beehive to where they keep gorillas? That doesn't make a lot of sense. But no, an apiary is the term for a beehive. I don't know why they don't just say beehive, but it's where the boxes where the bees are kept and everything. So they're going to take these bees to an apiary and let them be free and be wild, as long as you aren't at my house doing it, bees. So I'm happy for that. But that's not the only thing I've been having to deal with. I got the people coming for the bees. Last night, I go upstairs, getting ready to go to bed, getting ready to take a shower, and I hear a little beeping noise. Well, it turns out it's my little leak detector up in my attic. I look up there, and my water heater is broken. It sprung a leak. Yeah, it's been a rough week. Sprung a leak, and I've got a pan filled with water. So I turn off the water real quick before anything overflows and damages anything. And got it all shut down and figured out quickly that, I'm going to have to replace my water heater. So what the tough part is, remember how I told you I hate cold water? I never want to be a have-not because you have to shower in cold water and all that. Well, guess who had to take a cold shower last night because the hot water heater was turned off? Yeah, old boss Hogg, and I hated every bit of it. Took a quick shower, and it's amazing how fast I can move when I have to. But I went ahead and showered up. So this morning I said, I'm not dealing with that anymore. So I immediately call. I'm trying to get a water heater replaced. But here's the kicker. Remember how I told you I had bees up in the little porch underneath my roof up by my front door? Well, apparently there's an entrance between there and my attic And so sure enough, when I turn the lights on, this bare bulb up by the hot water heater, when I turn it on to see what's going on with this broken hot water heater, well, guess who comes out to welcome me? Yeah, about a dozen bees or so all immediately start swarming around. And then I thought, well, great. Now, how can I replace my hot water heater? Get someone to come do it if they're being swarmed by bees? Doesn't seem like they're going to be in a real big hurry to do that particular operation. So I got to remove the bees. Then I got to get the people out to replace the hot water heater. But meanwhile, I'm up there working on the hot water heater, making sure everything's turned off, water's drained out and all of that. And these bees they're just they're just bothering me. They aren't stinging me. They're just irritating me. So I figured out what to do. Mr. Ingenuity. We'll just leave that as the title for this evening. I probably should have asked Sharon before I did it, but hopefully she's okay with it. I took our vacuum cleaner and hauled it all the way up to the attic, plugged it in, because, they have those little wands that you use to clean the curtains and things like that. Well, I discovered they're perfect for vacuuming up bees, and it's actually a fun little sport. So I got up that vacuum cleaner, got it up into the attic, turned it on. I got my little wand of my vacuum cleaner, and I'm following these bees around everywhere, and zoop, zoop, zoop. It's sucking up all these bees. And before you know it, I've captured all 12 bees. They've been sucked up into the little trap, the little, I don't know, where all the dust, the vacuum bag. I don't want to kill any bees, but I'm not sure that these dozen bees necessarily have the greatest life expectancy outlook, because they're still sitting up in that vacuum bag, and I imagine they're going to be there from this point on. But there's no more bees up well, there may be up again. I'll have to check it again before someone comes to repair it. But it's actually a lot of fun. It's like a rodeo for people who don't want to ride bulls. Just waving that wand around and seeing if you can catch up to the bee. It's like Mr. Miyagi catching the fly with the chopsticks, except for someone who has a whole lot less dexterity. You just take bigger things like a bee, and you take a vacuum cleaner that's got a big old sucking effect about this far. So you get that wand kind of close, and then you see that bee just zip up into the wand. Yeah, I had fun doing it. And they're probably going to come get me in the middle of the night once they find out that there's the vacuum cleaner assassin that's sleeping down underneath them. But now, so the bees are cleared out. I'm getting them out of the house tomorrow, hopefully. And I'll get hot water before too long. And somewhere down the road, I guess I got to clean out a vacuum cleaner bag, and I'll have a little quick funeral for the ones who didn't quite make it to the end. But for the rest of them, be free, my bee friends, and no harm, no foul, and nothing personal. All right, guys, it is 7:57, so we're pretty close to it. Ma saying, can you send a video of the bees? Well, maybe. I tried to get them up while I was up in the attic. But here's the thing. Again, I'm not Mr. Dexterous. And holding a vacuum cleaner in one hand, trying to hold a video camera in the other hand is a little tougher than I thought. But I do want to try to I'm going to take some pictures and or some video tomorrow. Hopefully they got an extra bee outfit so I can actually be up underneath and get y'all some good shots. If not, I may have to hold my camera up next to binoculars or something. But I'm going to try to get some, if nothing else, I'll get some pictures of the beehive and the honey and everything else. Hey, I may get some honey out of the deal. I could eat slop with a little bit of honey. That's not a bad way to go. I'm trying to remember if we had honey while we were in the Big Brother house. I don't remember it, but maybe we did. We could probably ask, and maybe we would have gotten some. But now I figured by the end of tomorrow, hopefully I got a whole lot of honey, a whole lot less bees, and no stings whatsoever. And that seems like a winner to me. If I come back on Monday and I've got a cast anywhere on my body, or I've got welts all over my body, it's not smallpox. It's not, what else called it? It's not measles. It's probably just the bees got mad because I was up sucking away their buddies and their friends and their family with the vacuum cleaner. But I think they'll understand. All right, guys. Y'all have a great week. Yes, indeed, all of y'all. And I will give y'all updates as we go through the week. Y'all just have a great week. Enjoy this week. And before you know it, we're going to be back into the Big Brother season. And then we got all kinds of talking. I may do some more recaps in some form or manner because there's just going to be too much to talk about just on Cliff Notes Live at the end of the night. Ma saying I would think at least someone would have honey. They're going to have a lot of honey. I was told by the beekeepers they take the part of the beehive where the brood, the baby bees in their eggs or whatever are at, and they'll take those away, and they'll take enough honey that the bees can survive and all of that. But they may give me a little bit as well. Now, they also said, sometimes the honey looks very nice and clean. Sometimes if it's been up there for a while and everything, it may not look like the honey that you buy in the store, but hey, it's got to be better than slop. I'm a risk taker, so I may have to, I'm going to have to try it out a little bit. But yeah, Chickadee saying, be careful. Well, thank you, man. Thank you, Punster. I appreciate it. We need a few more puns in this chat room. So yes, I will be very, very careful, and I'll give y'all all the buzz when I hear about it. Chickadee, your pun was better than mine, but anyone. All right, let's see what else. Before we shut down, y'all have a great week. You can name your bees Honey, May, Bumble, and Boo. Honey, yeah, that's good. I'm not naming those bees anything. When you name an animal, it's a lot tougher to get rid of them. And I don't want to have any tears. I ain't going to be any tears when I'm saying goodbye to these bees. I hope they live a long and fruitful life, but no tears when these things go away. All right. I was looking to see if there's any a bee funeral. Looking to see if anything I missed, and I don't see it. So guys, with that, I will shut it down. I can't finish off without another SKD 143. I love my wife, love my kids. Y'all have a fantastic way. I love all y'all out here, and thanks for making me part of y'all's Monday night. Mondays aren't always so much fun, but it is certainly fun Monday nights when I get to chat with y'all guys. Y'all have a great one. I will talk to y'all again next Monday unless something amazing happens between now and then. And if so, I'll talk to y'all before then. Y'all have a great one, guys. Cheers, my friends. Bye.